Although Europe is the continent where the most people were trialed and executed by burning as part of witch hunts that took place in the Holy Roman Empire, France, and many other countries for a way longer period, approximately 300 years, colonial America is the most notorious for the witch hunts and trials that took place from 1647 to 1693 that culminated in the Salem witch trials, where 200 people were accused of witchcraft, 30 were found guilty, and 20 would be executed for it. During this period, besides the Salem witch trials, around 40 were killed and executed as part of the witch hunts, with most of them actually being executed by hanging rather than burning, as more believed by people, which is understandable considering the violent nature of a burning execution as opposed to a hanging one. Many of the accusations were fueled by conflicts such as land disputes, unpaid debts, or simple rivalries, with most of the evidence being absolute nonsense, such as people accusing others that they got attacked in their dreams by them through witchcraft. Many cases where people were suffering from mental illnesses and doctors not knowing what is going on, simply put it as witchcraft took place, alongside you simply accusing poor people, beggars, or in general people that did not fit in comfortably within their communities. Once people realized the absurdity of it, mainly due to the fact that people realized the stupidity of the Salem witch trials, alongside people starting to accuse one another of being a witch after the smallest verbal conflicts, they dropped the idea of witch hunting and witch trials altogether. The Satanic Panic that started to take root in the late 1960s in America and culminated in the 80s was a period of widespread fear in the United States that secret satanic cults were committing ritual abuse, particularly against children. It was mainly fueled by cultural anxieties, sensational media coverage, religious concern about the occult, heavy metal music becoming mainstream, horror movies becoming more popular alongside Halloween, people starting to move away from religious beliefs, and in a general misunderstanding of the cultural changes that took place during this time. And although isolated crimes involving occult themes did occur, extensive investigations found no evidence of the large organized satanic conspiracy that many believe existed. This one, compared to the witch trials, although saw its stocks drop as well, did not fully disappear, and people still believe to this day that there are bigger powers at play that worship Satan, who are looking to do us wrong. Hello everybody, my name is Dasura, and you might be wondering what the two phenomena that took place in US that I just talked about have to do with today's video. The thing connecting them is Lone Haven, a VHS analog horror series that I found on YouTube, who explores some tragedies that take place in this small fictional town that include satanic worship, cults, witchcraft, and many other concepts. What I want to mention is that the first video is tagged as having AI in it, and I want to say that I am somebody who is against it, especially when it comes to our generation by AI, but I do think that the creator did not use AI for its our generation or in general its concept. I think where it was used, as you will see, is the voice acting, which I think it is AI generated, and although I'm not the biggest fan using it even for that, it's a bit more understandable. As always, I fully recommend watching the series yourself. It has only 2 videos as of right now, which clock in around 37 minutes. Then coming back to this video if you are interested in a breakdown of this series. I will leave a link in the video description to the series channel. The way we will go is that I will play the first video almost in full, since it is quite necessary in understanding and getting the feel of the series. Then the second video I will break in pieces and talk about the different stuff it's presenting us. And at the end I will give my theories on what I think the series is about and what everything could mean. Other than that, please leave a like, subscribe and leave a comment letting me know what you liked about the video or maybe did not like and what else would you like me to cover next. With that being said, let's get into it with our first video titled Lone Haven as below.
Lone Haven, a small town in the heart of Broward County, has been home to countless mysteries and tragedies throughout its history. Long before the arrival of European settlers, the land was inhabited by indigenous tribes who revered the dense forests and the rivers that rolled through them. They spoke of spirits that dwelled beneath the earth, of whispers carried by the wind, and of places where time itself seemed to fracture. When the settlers arrived in 1697, these tribes were swiftly displaced, their sacred grounds desecrated, and their traditions buried under the weight of a new order. Yet, something lingered. In the years that followed, certain women in Lone Haven claimed to feel a strange sensitivity toward the land, an affinity for the hidden, an understanding of things unspoken. They whispered of visions, of dreams filled with voices not their own. But in a town that was carving its identity through fire and faith, there was no place for those who saw beyond the veil. From the earliest days, women who were considered different were persecuted under accusations of witchcraft. It was said that many of them practiced dark rituals in the forest surrounding Lone Haven and offered children as sacrifices to ancient entities. The town's founders organized witch hunts with the blessing of the church. Hundreds of women were condemned, many without trial, tortured and executed in brutal ways. One of the most chilling cases was that of Helen Bishop. In the year 1900, Helen was the wife of Sheriff Thomas Bishop, a well-respected man in the community. They had been married for 10 years childless, and according to neighbors, Helen was a radiant and kind woman, until one day, Sheriff Bishop made a terrifying discovery in his own home. Beneath his house, in the basement, lay hell itself. Teeth, bones, torn clothing, small dead animals. These were just some of the horrors he found within. Bishop ran outside, screaming to his neighbors what he had uncovered. Within hours, a mob had gathered in front of the house. Helen Bishop was dragged out, taken to the center of town, and lynched by her own neighbors. Her case would mark the last time a woman was killed under the accusation of witchcraft in Lone Haven. The case was closed, and Sheriff Bishop stepped down shortly after. However, the disappearances never stopped, and to this day, the people of Lone Haven still wonder what dark secrets are hidden in that ominous, ancient forest. One that they say is older than time itself.
And that is our introduction to Lone Haven Town, who is part of the Broward County, which I'll tell you now is a fictional county as well. It seems that settlers came here in 1697 and has always kicked the indigenous people out, who seem to have been worshipping what in Christianity is seen as false gods. This took place shortly after the end of the craze of witch trials, and it is understandable why they will still be a thing, with the video telling us that many women were killed for witchcraft. The oddities of Lone Haven seem to have never disappeared along the years, and even in the 900s, the wife of the sheriff of that time, Helen, which I do want you to remember her and her house, who was found as killing young children for witchcraft and was the last woman publicly executed for witchcraft. In the more recent years, the town's weirdness seemed to have never disappeared, with many people still going missing for unknown reasons. After that, we get this section of the video with somebody scrolling to some TV channels, with the first being an announcement of a missing girl named Sharon Woodland.
Sharon Woodland, now age 16, last seen in Northview, Lone Haven on May 25, 1996. If you have any information, please call 1-800-5.
After that, the channel changes again, and we have a Christian religion channel that is practically praying for the well-being of Sharon, setting in more of that religious factor of the series. After that, the TV switches to channel 9, who seems to be a news channel, who informs us that in Briarwood Forest in Lord Heaven, a body was discovered and there were signs of ritualistic and satanic elements. The body, although not confirmed to be Sharon Woodland, it does point out towards her. After that, the video ends, and I want to show you the last segment because I think it was pretty dope. And that is the end of our first video. I do want you to keep in mind that last section since it will be relevant to us. So, what can we gather from that? Lone Haven seems to be a place with many supernatural elements to it. It seems that even after the indigenous people were kicked off their land, the woman, probably influenced by these forces, started worshipping them through witchcraft that led to witch hunts and public executions. Though later on this seems to have subsided, it still took place in the 1900s with the execution of Helen, and later on in the 90s with the disappearance that took place. It seems that although they might have died down, in fact they probably still are as present as before, it's just that they became more underground and do not take place in people's faces as before. The last thing to take note is that this takes place around 1996, which does coincide a bit with the satanic craze of that period, and although it did die down quite a significant bit during the 90s, it was still present. The next video, which is the last current for the series, is titled Lone Haven Outcome. The video starts with footage from some wildfires that are spreading wildly. Here we do get some jumping frames, with some of them actually having some text that are reversed. I want to say that I truly try my best to decipher the first one, but for the love of God I really couldn't fully decipher it. Some of the words are really indiscernible, and the low quality VHS filter did not help either. What I managed to decipher is in between the silence of something and the despair in the darkness, this, and the rest to me is indiscernible. But what I did manage to decipher is the second writing, and that one says, "The snake, fed up with the taste of its own flesh, will seek to free us from this hell imposed on our offspring and will grant us the gift of eternity." This one is quite interesting if we were to analyze it, and let's start with the first part. The snake fed up with the taste of its own flesh. First, notice the fact that the word snake is capitalized, letting us know that the snake could be its name, its own entity, not just a snake. Now, let's fully analyze the whole sentence. The snake here can point out to two beings, and they could be at the same time each other. The first entity that comes to mind is of course Satan himself. The snake in Christianity has always been a symbol of Satan, as the one in the Garden of Eden who tricked Eve in eating the apple. This connection is quite direct and simple, also considering the religious tones of the series we had so far, and the fact that the word snake is capitalized here. The second entity this could be speaking about that I think once again could work together with the first interpretation is Ouroboros. Ouroboros, for those who don't know, is an ancient symbol depicting a dragon or a snake who is eating his own tail, forming a perfect circle. He normally represents the eternal cycle of life, death, and rebirth, as well as infinity and eternity. This could work hand in hand with the idea of Satan, and it would make total sense considering it says fed up with the taste of its own flesh, implying this idea he is constantly eating itself. This also becomes even clearer with the next line, which states, "will seek to free us from this hell imposed on us." The idea being of this constant cycle of life and death being broken by him, with the last line being, "and will grant us the gift of eternity," letting us know that the final conclusion to this is the gift of immortality, breaking the cycle of God's life and death. So it seems the cult that has taken root in Lone Haven is worshipping either Satan or Ouroboros, who could be the same entity altogether, with the final goal of this being breaking the cycle of life and death and granting them immortality. It could be really great to know what the first phrase was saying to understand it even more. I left a comment on the original video and I truly hope that the creator responds to it so we can decipher the first one as well, and by chance if I do decipher it I'll leave a comment on this video. The next part of the video is with a burning house. Now this could be absolutely nothing, but a theory you can throw in here that will make a bit of sense later on is that this is the house of Helen Bishop. After that introduction we have the following shots with the bottom middle of the video, barely discerning text, no alternation in the veil. Something to keep in mind for later on. After that we go back to the old TV and we scroll through some channels with some ads for Halloween since we are approaching that date, until finally setting in channel 4, who is a news channel with the following report.
A girl goes missing in this town. God knows it's not the first time. But this isn't just any girl. This is your family.
Marge and Homer have been sitting on a spooky secret. Bart had a Siamese twin.
I think I'll see that one.
We are coordinating efforts, ensuring that every available resource is being used efficiently. At this time, I believe that the best course of actions is to rely on those who understand Lone Haven better than anyone.
So as we can see, Sharon, the girl who disappeared earlier in the year and was later found dead, is the niece of Tate Woodland, who is the mayor of Lone Haven. There are also some questions in regards to using the city's resources when it comes to investigating this death. After that we get a jump into the Rainer residence. In the background we can hear a man and a woman fight, and after the two kids who have a talk in one of their bedrooms.
Baby? What's wrong? Danny. It's just you, Danny. Now, it was too late. Too late for what? Just trust me, okay? I tell you later. Did he hit you? It doesn't matter, Dad. Just tell me you're cool with me, please. But I don't want to live without Mom. I didn't want to either. Mom's going to be mad. Mom won't save us, Donnie. It hurts, but no one will. Now we have each other. And where are we going? Somewhere swear no one can hurt us. I promise you that.
It seems the two kids, having enough of their parents fighting, choose to actually leave. After that, we get a tape recording of an interrogation for another missing child case.
I was my fucking ass working every goddamn day. And I haven't seen a single poster of my daughter. Not one. Not one of those they promise they put up. All I see is the stupid face of that cocksucker Woodland's fucking niece. And everyone in this fucking town acts like nothing happening. The county with the highest number of missing kids. And even if we were certain that this goddamn town is the fucking gateway to hell, no one would move their fucking ass. We just get used to the devil. And you just gotta sit there in silence the whole damn time? Say something! I've been here for 3 hours!
I want you to listen to yourself. Say it. Until you believe it.
And what the fuck you mean by that?
You named Kate before. She's your wife. But not Lucy's mother. Right? Right?
It's her stepmother.
Yeah, right. Is this her?
What? What? No. What do you... What? Kate? What happened to her? What do you... What happened?
Your neighbor, Vilma, called her. Say she saw something in her backyard.
Oh, fucking God.
When Vilma realized what it was, she called the cops.
Fuck.
And Kate ran to the bathroom.
Fuck.
And swallowed every pill she could find. Unfortunately for her, she didn't die.
Fuck's sake.
She's in the hospital.
Fuck.
And in case you're wondering, this is what they found in your backyard.
Is this some kind of sick fucking joke? Because it is. It's too big. It's too goddamn good.
This just seemed like a joke to you, Jonas. Are we even looking at the same image? The erosion pushed her body to the surface. It's been raining for days. You beg to find Lucy. There she is. Maybe it's true when they say that this land is cursed. No. They watch us. Yeah. They watch us. Those who live. But they don't entirely go away. They still need something from us. They need our honesty toward them. Because otherwise we will condemn them to be poor souls, trapped in this wretched existence. We will be denying them heaven. Jonas, don't you want Lucy to go to heaven? Jonas, I saw the cross around your neck. Don't hide it from me. I just asked you a goddamn question, Jonas. Don't you want your daughter to go to heaven?
Alright, two things I want to mention here before actually dissecting that dialogue. First, the fact that Detective Damien looks like a one-on-one copy of those noir detectives from the 50s is quite amusing to me, and although sometimes it could be cheesy, I found it actually endearing rather than cringe since it was not overdone. The second thing that is quite obvious, it's the dialogue and voice acting. I think here is where we can see that probably AI was used for voice acting since it feels off, alongside the fact that the dialogue at times can be a bit confusing, which I think is a result of the creator of the series not being a native English speaker, which is alright and understandable. Nonetheless, he did a good job in presenting the story so far. If you had problems with understanding what is going on, I will piece it together for you. Jonah's neighbor Vetma noticed that there is something coming up from the ground in Jonah's yard. When his wife Kate, Lucy's stepmother, the girl who is missing, went into the yard and after what she saw in there, went into her bathroom and tried to kill herself by taking a bunch of pills, but survived and was sent to the hospital. Due to the rain, it seems that the body of Lucy, who was buried in their yard, came to the surface due to the fact that it was buried close to the surface level. Some other things to take notice in this conversation is that first of all, we have another disappearance case. These seem to pile up more and more. Second, Jonas mentions how people act like nothing is happening even though kids disappearing is a common occurrence in this town, and how only now that the mayor's niece disappeared there was some kind of interest, pointing out that the town might be corrupt and only care about important people's lives. The last thing to take note is that the way Damien takes the confession from Jonas is by convincing him the only way for Lucy to go to heaven is through her soul finding peace by him confessing on what happened. And we have at the end this informative screenshot.
I took the hole in my car. I can't goddamn that anymore.
So it seems Kate, who is Jonah's second wife, due to jealousy and resentment, kidnapped and killed his little daughter in a fit of rage. Jonas claims he was manipulated to do all of this, but I beg to differ. Like, how can you kill your own daughter just because somebody manipulated into it? The last bit of information we get from here is that something called shade was found both in Kate and Lucy's bodies. If you're wondering what this is, it's not a real life thing. I tried to see if something like that exists, but no, it's just something specifically made for this series, but it is the first time it was mentioned. Next we have this shot. So let's hear what our detective told Jonas.
You must be praying real hard for you and that venomous bitch you married to end up surrounded by cameras and agents watching your every move, because otherwise each of you would have my full magazine emptying into your haters' fucking faces. Though what's waiting for both of you won't be any prettier than that. And don't bother blame drama queen and trying to off yourself like your pathetic wife did. Seems like not even hell wants you.
I absolutely love this, even though once again the voice acting is not quite the best, but to be honest is in this instance not the worst either. It was such a good moment to add a layer of character to Damien and give him an actual soul and identity. Next, we have this shot from inside the South District Department of Lone Haven Police Department, to which I have to mention this painting. Although it is quite awesome in a horror setting, it is a questionable painting to have in an actual police department. In here we have a conversation between Damien and another police officer who informs him he was given the Woodland case. Then we have a tape with Damien's monologue, so let's hear it.
That stench again. Choke in the air. The city rots away, day by day. Slowly. Everyone here rakes the fit. That guy, March, he was soaked in it. But I gotta admit, he was a bro. We could be living in fucking hell. We were conscious of it. And somehow, we still get used to the devil. We grow numb to the news, as if it were part of the landscape. Like, it's just part of the fucking job.
Although quite dark and philosophical from our noir detective Damien, we do get some information from him. It seems that everybody in this place reeks of rot, like it's infested by something evil, and everybody is part of it. People of this town, instead of fighting the weird and fucked up things that take place in it, simply just accept it. And he mentions that even if the devil himself appeared in this town, people would get used to it. He also says that this place might be as well hell itself, and people have become numb to it. What an interesting load of information. This could indicate why a lot of really bad things could happen in this town without people taking action. It seems whatever is happening in here due to what could be supernatural influence, people become numb to it, and this stench of rot is taking over the town, making it like hell. Also pointing to what could be the apparition of the devil. Next, we have some shots with some other disappearing victims. The last one gave me the creeps. What a great disturbing shot with only the legs being seen. We also get once again the mention of shade being in their blood. Next we have this amazing bit of horror. I would recommend lowering your volume though. After that we get into what I think is a dash cam of a police officer who is asked to go to the old Lone Haven part of the town where two male teenagers were arrested, and we have some shots with the teens. Next we have a found footage type of section with these two kids who recorded themselves entering Lone Haven part of town in what they call the witch's house. Now I will only show you this shot from the starting section of this recording with the entrance to this old Lone Haven, since the rest of it is just some bullshit the kids talk about. Now let's watch the parts after they entered old Lone Haven.
No offense, excuse me, but how can you fall for a girl who didn't even give you head? Hey, man, that's camera! The fuck? What the fuck? Fucking satanic black magic. Yo, you hear that? This place is a fucking mess.
What the respect, Jack? We're fucking looking for a mansion.
That would be fucking great. Some bunny girls.
Jesus, that's Playboy, you fucking idiot.
Whatever, same shit. Yo, help me to get there.
Fucking dwarf.
Fucking shit. Look at this. What the hell? What the fuck was that? Turn that shit off. I think there's someone downstairs. Fucking shit. Shh. I think he's gone. Don't move.
Fucking great. Come on. Come on.
Police, is anyone here? If you're here, identify yourself and come out with your hands visible. This is private property. I need you to leave the premises immediately. Jesus Christ! What the hell is that thing?
This recording was one of the reasons that I wanted to do a video about this Quiet Unknown VHS horror series. The inside of the house was amazing. I really liked the way the camera glitch with the pixel was used to move us from a place to another. The sound design of this was great. alongside the cave section who gave me the creeps and made me lose sleep was an amazing experience. Next we are back in Rainer residence where the mother that was fighting her husband at the start of the video realizes their two kids have run from home and called 911 to get help from the authorities, and we have this conversation.
Mayor. Okay. Because faith is the future.
I don't know. Maybe 20 minutes I was in the kitchen with my husband. And then I went upstairs. Oh God. If I thought it was something.
Ma'am, I understand your concern, but we usually don't report missing persons until 24 hours have passed.
Are you serious right now? My daughter is 18 and my son is 8. My son is 8. It's the middle of the night and they are gone. Do you think I'm calling for fun?
Unless there's evidence of abduction or foul play, we can't file a formal missing persons
The
report.
back door was open. They are missing. What more do you want? You people always say your deal is too late. Do something. It's 8 years old. 8.
I've recorded your statement. If there's no further information,
No,
I'll be
don't
ending
you
the call
dare.
so the line remains
Don't you
open
dare
for
to leave me right now. Don't you dare. Please. I beg you. Send someone. Please. Please. God. My daughter. Oh no.
Once again, we see the disinterest of the people. When something bad happens in this town, the emergency operator acts like this is a normal everyday occurrence and nothing worthy of note. Quite literally, not giving a fuck that this woman's kids went missing, emphasizing even more this element of people being numb to all the bad shit that takes place in this town. Almost like they are under some kind of spell, or maybe quite literally on something that makes them act like this. At the end we have this last bit.
Hey, hey, why the long face? Come on. Life is easy, beautiful, and full of amazing surprises. We're kicking off a brand new semester, a fresh new chapter, and it's up to us to fill it with good vibes. And hey, always remember this. Pain, sometimes it's unavoidable, but suffering is a choice.
Sun, shine on me today. Sun, dry my tears away. How I need your warm embrace to shine upon my crying face. Oh, sun, shine on me today. Sun, give me a little light. Take me out of this dark night. You know what a little light can do.
And that is the end of the series' first chapter, Outcome. Now, once again, let me be honest with you, this might be very well the end of the series, because the creator has not posted anything else in the past year, and even though he did get a lot of content here, it is clear that this last video was practically just the starting point for the series. This is clear by the fact it's called Chapter 1 Outcome, the fact that we only get just a tiny bit of information about what is going on in this small town, and we do not have a conclusion to it. Nonetheless, I wanted to cover it because of two things. First, you cannot deny what amazing horror it presented to us. We have some great editing skills, a great starting story with intriguing elements attached to it, great art and horror elements all around, and little details like the two poetry verses that we were given at the start of the outcome video, where we were given hints about the story's direction. And let's not even talk about the found footage section, who made me wet my pants on how good it was, since I'm a geek for found footage. The only downside here that I can find to this series is that first of all we do have that tag of AI being used in the series first video, where exactly we do not know, and the dialogue and voice acting feels off sometimes, but it is not that bad that it takes a lot from the series. The second reason I wanted to cover this series is because of how little love this series has received, with only around 400 viewers for both videos it has so far, even though the quality of it deserves much more. I wanted to cover it since it is quite unknown in the horror community of YouTube and wanted people to take more notice of it, even though I'm a bigger nobody than the series creator. And who knows, maybe if the creator sees that his series is getting some love and support, he will continue it. So please, if you see this, go to the series channel and show support for them. With all of that out of the way and with all the information gathered so far, let's get to the final part of this video and also my favorite, the theory section. Let's see what we can put together with what we know so far and see what the story is about. We'll start right from the beginning of all, and that is 1697, when the colonists who came into Lone Haven and killed the indigenous people of their land, who seem to have been worshipping false gods of the forest and rivers. While they did get kicked out, it seems that this worshipping never stopped, influenced by them through something we do not know yet. This worshipping continued even with the colonists creating Lone Haven through its people, and especially women with witchcraft. This started the dark history of this small town, with a lot of witch hunts during this period, with brutal public executions. Around 1900s, Helen Bishop, who was the wife of the sheriff of that time, was found to be a witch through the human baby remains found in her basement by her husband, and was lynched. In the more present days, in the year 1996, the weird unnatural stuff are still present, with a lot of kids and teenagers still disappearing, but it seems that the people of this town got used to this and see it as normal, with the authorities not even giving that much effort in solving these mysteries. It also looks like there is something in the air, almost like a stench of rot, that is circulating the air of this town, that is influencing them in acting the way they do, indifferent and numb to the many things that take place in here. The only time the authorities moved is when the niece of the mayor, Sharon Woodland, went missing, showing that corruption is also present in this small town. It is quite clear, due to different details we get through the series, we are dealing with a satanic cult who is using witchcraft to worship the beings present in this area by sacrificing children. The being they worship could very well be Satan, who can also be connected to the concept of Ouroboros, as shown by the quotes we got flashed at the start of the outcome video. The reason they worship it is because they expect that once the devil regains his powers and descends into this town, the gift of eternity will be given to them and the circle of life and death will be broken. This also connects to what Detective Damien says at some point about how this place feels like the place where the gates of hell are present, hinting at the idea that this would be what the cultists from Lone Haven want to bring here. Here's where I'll make my first theory that I do not have much to base it on, but I truly like the idea of. I think the drug shade that gets mentioned a bit throughout the video is the drug through which they influence the people of this town to be this numb and to influence them to do crazy things they do. Like Jonah's second wife, who irrationally killed her stepdaughter to do resentment. This is hinted at by the series when it tells us that traces of shade was found in her blood while she was at the hospital. This would make perfect sense since it seems that almost all the children who have been found dead when we were shown that section with multiple shots of them seem to have shade in their blood. Let's also remember how the two children from Rainer residence who ran away by their own choice, showing us that it is most likely they are not getting kidnapped, and I think through this drug shade they are influenced to run away. The second theory I want to personally come up with is that I think the house we get a found footage section from is the house of Helen Bishop, the last witch being executed. This would make sense since it's part of Old Lone Haven and why it's abandoned and why the kids call it the witch house. I think the house is used as the main spot of the cultists where they do their rituals in the cave found in the basement of the house. The house could as well be the house where you see at the start of the outcome video where a burning house is shown, but this could very well be wrong and just being used as aesthetic purposes only, since the house the kids roam does not look like to be burned. One other piece of information I want to mention here that I forgot to add previously is that when the photo of the body found in basement is shown, we get the text new alternation in the veil. If you remember at the start of the depiction of the video outcome, we get the text no alternation in the veil that I told you to keep in mind. It seems once the body in the basement of Helen's house was found, something has changed and things might start to further develop. The last thing I want to mention is that I think our noir detective Damien is used as the hero archetype since he seems to be the only sane one and not influenced by the unnatural things taking place in Lone Haven and is deeply affected by them. He's also used as the factor to solve everything and fight the bad people of this town. And that is pretty much it. That is all I can piece together and theorize about with all the information we got so far. Once more, like I said, I think this was just the beginning of a beautiful long VHS horror series, but it seems that the creator of it either postponed the rest of it or simply gave up, most likely to the low views he got for it. So if you want more of it, please give the series a try and go to his YouTube channel and show support for him because who knows, maybe he will come back and finish this masterpiece. One thing I really appreciated about it is how he did not make the two videos in like 31-minute videos like some of the other series do on YouTube, just so he can try to get more out of them. He gave us an introductory video of 5 minutes and then the first full chapter of the series with 30 minutes of pure horror. Thank you to anybody who watched this video. Please, if you liked it, leave a like, subscribe to my channel and leave a comment.